Hi guys, how we doing? Sam here with you. It's the 18th of June, and we're looking at traditionals today. So, well, most of you guys probably saw the polling here. First up, it's not a huge surprise is to look at Facebook here. So they're obviously dominating much of the news today, and at least in the financial markets, with the the white paper release of Libra. So that's got people interested in what's happening here and how that. Well, is that going to be a real revenue stream for Facebook? It's definitely, so the chart has gotten very interesting here. It's not the easiest count. There's a few spots where you're really kind of forced into a particular count just because of the lack of depth of retracements. Whereas often we see this in these just raging bulls. So I'm all the way back here to the absolute low here. I think this actually can be a little bit easier to see in log scale. So let me get this in log scale here. Where we have those long extended runs, it can be just a little bit easier to get a look at it. So I think the 1, 2, pretty solid. 3, 4, I think we get the 5 here. Now note here, we do this. I'm not referencing this per any overlap. Even though it is, you can kind of see the temptation to go 3, 4, 5 here. But I think we have to do it this way because this is we do get a very, there's not much of an A in there, but there is this drop here. I think this is our best bet to complete. Well, one, it's a real dig to get this to get an impulse in here. So I think we're better to go 3, 4, 5. Now obviously, let me get this out of log scale. It creates for a very shallow 2, but there is nothing you can pick that wouldn't be shallow. So it's a little bit of a compromise. You're going to pick this if you're going 3, 4, 5 here, 1, 2, or it's not any better because the subdivision I think plays a bit better here. I'm more inclined to complete the 1 here. This little drop here where we bump into that structure I think is more likely to be our 2, and then coming up here I can get the 1, 2, 3, 4, the extensions in the 5 of the 3rd, and again I think it's just kind of making do with the best case here so we can see this, and obviously that's long past any algo targets here. But I think this is our cleanest count here. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, extension in the 5, ABC for the 4. So that has you looking for a relationship between the pivot here of the 2 through the pivot of the 3. Now we come 38. That's within a tick or two for a front run, and not unreasonable to think that we've got a front run here on the target. That's about a $6 front run on that target would be my guess as to why you stop there. All right, 218.73. Now, I think it's very workable. So now, with this here, I think, I did look at the possibility here that we had an expanded flat, that we had something along these lines, and that this was the 4, but this goes too far, I think, to hold as a B wave, plus there's an impulse here. So I think through process of elimination, we've got to work with this. Obviously, that's the largest retracement we get. So I think we've got to work for that if the 1 high is in, this is the closest I can get to a 50. So we're more typical here. There's not much of a B wave, but I do get a 3 wave structure here to give me a candidate for the 2. So A, B, C down. Now I do get an impulse coming off of that. So, one or A. I think that because we're close enough to the 50 here, and Facebook, right? Do you really want to short this? I think we have to use this as our 2. So we're just staying with that idea. Right, until this low is violated or there's some dramatic change here, I think this is our best bet as a 2. And then coming off of that, let's see if I go to a 2 hour here. The impulse is, so we got to go 1, 2, 3, A, B, C into the 4 here, where we just effectively get this triple bottom with this, right? Interestingly, we keep coming back to this level here. It keeps getting tested, and we have. What's interesting about that is that we have a gap here, right? That's not being filled. So point of note. ABC into the 4 looks like that's our 5. ABC down for the 2. Now this you see go, well, wonder why it's stopping there. Well, You want to guess before I even draw this up? All right, so we can look at that. All right, it's 50 to the tick. All right, so no shock there, right? We know they're going to, algorithms will be all over this. So there's your just classic algo buy, right at the 50. Right, there they go. Right, that's what they're after. Now, will they get there, and is that where we stop? Well, if this is we're gonna play Elliott ball, this has got potential. Oh, fucking Christ, potential to go much higher. All right, so this candidate here, if we're gonna get a true third here, that put us up at 275. So all of this has to move much higher. This would go higher. All this goes higher because we're just looking to. God damn, that's annoying. We're gonna try and complete the 3, 4, 5 here. So 3, 4, 5, we get that candidate for the 3, just right. It's not terribly important where you put these. You just want to have them up and out of the way. So as we're analyzing here now, so obviously we'd have a candidate here, although it's a bit thin on time. So we would certainly have a candidate here for a corner pocket, right? So we come here. So tag, right? So look at this. So there's your 80% realized. Right, so from the 50, perfect corner pocket goes right to the median line. All right, 80% odds, right? I mention it as often as I can, right? Best odds in trading, my favorite trade, right there, right? Boom. Now, does that mean we stop there? Not necessarily, but you can see here we've tagged it and then backed off a little bit. So one, it looks, God, we got to dig in there a little bit closer. It doesn't look like whatever we're doing here is quite finished. So it looks like you've got a little retrace here. So right now, there's just a 3-wave structure here. We don't have much other than the tag of the median line. And this is, I think we are through the 786. Yeah, we are. So we can, let's get the 887 on there, kind of a last stand here. Let's get our 887 on there. Okay, so 887 to the tick. So there's certainly the possibility that there's more complexity to this. So we could, we got to think through what the alternates are. So this is kind of last stand for a retrace. If we were going to do something like that, that wouldn't be out of bounds of what you might anticipate. So note here the algo target's right on top of the 618. So by no means am I suggesting to short that. I'm just noticing here the confluence here technically as we banged into that. Now nothing says we're going down there. We could very easily, if we're going to hold here and retrace, come down and then set up for the 1, 2. Right? So we have a count that would support the ABC in here at the 50. There's the straight rip reaction you're anticipating right to the median line. So next thought, as far as I'm concerned, is what happens at the next 50. Right, if that's a 1, well, let me get this. Let's get this out of here. Okay, let's clean this up a little bit. So 1, 2, so certainly could be ABC. Right, can't eliminate that. This is already a little bit shaky because of just the straight fall in the C. So we got a candidate here for a. We'll have to see if this is going to come down and challenge this high, but you can have a 3, 3, 5 here. So 1, 2, I wouldn't bet against it here. So I would be definitely paying attention to this pivot here. So if we're going to go, if it's going to go 1, 2, I don't even think we're far enough for a 3. So let's just check it. Yep, we are. Okay, so we could have a candidate for a 3. Not the best, so the subdivision, of course, is, but not really there, right? We're already at a 2 hour. So there's not much you can do with this yet, other than I think you can anticipate, right? There's no reason to assume that 50 won't hold. So if this is going to come down here, you'd certainly want to be paying attention as you get into that sweet spot for our high probability zone for this retrace would put us again, I'm just free drawing here. I don't know if we come down here to this range. Well, I'd certainly be paying attention there for signs of strength. And you've got, note here, this structure here from all of this action here, right around the 618. So if I just kind of include all of that. Let's get all of that. So that gives us this nice little support zone here. So if we can come down, get into something like that. Well, yeah, you'd like to see, let's go. I guess you could do it here. Let's open this up a little bit. you'd like to see better subdivision in there. Boy, that's a skinny, but it's, yeah, you can get it. So you could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's stupid high. Let's get this. Okay, so there, that's not out of bounds. Let's get that right on there. So see, for the 2, I can, it's a little thin on the 1, 2, right? So 3, 4 comes right back to that support. 3, 4 up for the 5. We tag the median line. Now, could we be coming back down here for the, all right, so this, we got a candidate, so at the next degree, so this is very reasonable as a 1. Looking for the 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, those will all go up a degree. Let's change that color. We can go back to green. Okay, so 1, 2. Need the ABC to come down here. You'd be looking for that. So all this goes up. That would go here for maybe up towards the upper range here. Now let's pull back out on that, see what that looks like. So to the larger degree, 1, 2 is in. The 1, 2, if that's the 1, 2, we're just getting started, right, in the 3rd. So potentially now we're just in the, well, could be the 1 of the 3, could be the 1 of the 1 of the 3, right? Just, there's no way to know at this moment in time because we don't have enough data. But I think the 1, 2 here is a reasonable way to approach this. So any sort of a retracement here, so we're likely to have some volatility across the market after the Fed announcement tomorrow. So if this were to pull back today, so barring the surprise, I mean, we seem to be in that phase in the market where any news is going to be interpreted bullishly in the market. So regardless of what they say, I will be surprised if we don't get some volatility, and my expectation is it'll be bullish. Off of the news tomorrow, I don't think he can say anything that will spook the market. So 1, 2, if you had a little pullback here, even if we could get back to this, well, it's point of control on visible range, but if we could get back to the midpoint, even to the 50, I think not a bad choice here. Now you're going to have volatility increasing here. So if you're looking on the options, you're going to pay a premium for that. So the only thing you can do to reduce that, so the volatility is reflected most in the out of the money option. So you can buy in the money. So if you were bullish and you wanted to, just keep it relatively simple, assuming we can get a little retrace here, and that may be too much of an assumption, but if we can get even to the 50, so that would be around 176 to 177. If you can buy calls slightly in the money, right, you got to pay for that, or you're paying for the delta or the premium that's in the money. You're going to pay a premium for that, is what I want to say. So, but I think that gives you a better opportunity here, and you're not just paying for the volatility. So I would avoid buying out of the money options because you're overpaying for them if you're doing that. So in the money, if you can get anything around even the 180s, if you can get this to pull back just a hair, you can buy right at the money, slightly in the money. That's not a bad thought with an upside target here at 247. Now, right, so always with options, right, time is working against you right, so I should qualify that, if you're on the buy side, right? But the simpler thing to do, rather than, yeah, sure, there's all sorts of complex spreads we could put on here, but if you want to keep it simple, because we're just looking for this realization here, so, you're going to want an option with at least, you'd want to avoid, skip the weeklies, right, that's just time kills you there. So you'd want to have at least, minimum for a buy is 30 days, right? So you're not, because the time decay accelerates as it gets closer to expiration. So I'd suggest, 30, 45, 60 days, right? Pay for that premium, right? It's more expensive, but if it goes, the payoff will be good. So that's what I'd see here, right? Or of course, obviously, you could just buy Facebook, buy the stock, right? I don't know that I would margin up going into a Fed meeting here, because shit happens, surprises come. So look at the market today, right? Just took one tweet about a phone call from Trump, and Dow's up 300 points. So it's not without a degree of risk here, but I think the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here looks solid. And remember, we're just trying to get the 3 here, 4, 5, put us up somewhere around here. So 270 is not out of bounds here. kind of keep an eye on this pivot here, as we know there'll be stops here, right? But there'll be breakout buyers, there'll be stops for short sellers. So there's some fuel that will be there, right, for additional volatility. All right, guys, there you go. All right, that's what I think, and I'm going to try and get a couple more done today. Okay, back to you later.